Hello, today's video is going to be on questions you should be asking a potential pet sitter. I am a certified professional dog trainer and I spend a lot of time with pet parents and parents who told me many stories about pet sitters, good and bad. So I've just compiled a list of questions you should be asking during interviews for potential pet sitters. I will be looking down quite a bit at my notes just to make sure that I hit all the topics that I want to make sure that we chat about. If you have any other questions or things that you think should be brought up, please feel free to add them in the comments so we can all kind of help each other out. But let's get started. So the first thing that you want to see is ask about their rates, because if you don't have the budget for whatever that sitter is asking, that just kind of ends the conversation there. That's okay. You move on to the next one. When asking about the rates, you want to ask if there are any additional fees. You want to see how they want to be paid or how they are paid and make sure that's something you can do. Some people only take Venmo, Zelle. If that's something you don't have, then again, that's something to consider. Also, when do they need to be paid? So if this is something that you're going on an extended trip and it is something that you cannot pay in one go, then seeing if you have someone you can work with for splitting payments or anything like that, just making sure that the person accepts whatever kind of method and time of payment that you're able to do. The next one is asking if they have their own reliable form of transportation, their own being the key thing. If they share a car with, a significant other, that can get a little bit complicated with potentially them not being able to check in on your pet because their significant other or someone needs their car, whatever it may be. So just making sure that they can confirm they have their own reliable form of transportation to be able to get to and from your house. Are they insured? This is something that you can it's going to be up to you how you feel, but it's an extra safety net if they are insured or if they work for another company that can kind of hold them accountable. So something to ask. So how often do you leave the house for either work, school, etc.? And what does that look like? What does your daily schedule look like? How long will my pet need to be alone for? This is something that a lot of pet sitters are willing to be flexible with. So just making sure that you have a completely open and honest dialogue about that to make sure you're comfortable with the amount of time that the pet sitter will be there, and the pet sitter has made sure they've said exactly what the expectations are, right? The next one is, how do you correct dogs? Well, I'm saying dogs, but any pet, if they misbehave. So this is going to be a really big one, that you never want to hire someone that thinks there's an excuse to harm your pet. So something along the lines of redirecting the behavior would be an acceptable answer, but you never want them to be comfortable saying that they would harm your pet for a small thing as a misbehavior, right? So whatever you're comfortable with them doing is something that you'll also want to make sure that is clearly stated. Do you have any special education, training, or certifications? So examples of this can be CPR, first aid, dog training, anything that can kind of just give you a little bit of extra peace of mind that this person is well educated in their field and they are able to take good care of your pet and have a high level of responsibility. So if this person is not a direct referral from someone you know, it can be beneficial to ask for referrals and or someone who can vouch for them. So if they are someone that you found on like rover.com or they just contacted you when you did a social media post, you can ask them, can you provide referrals from previous people you have pet sit for? Just so you can get a little bit more peace of mind that this person has done this before, it's been successful, everything went well, you're probably going to be safe. How often will you be keeping in touch and sending me updates? So this is something that, again, you're going to need to establish beforehand. If, let's say, the vet asked you to keep an eye on a limp in the leg, this is something you're going to want to communicate to your pet sitter and ask that they are keeping an eye on and they are giving you updates on. How often are you wanting updates? I expect at least daily updates. I feel like that's the bare minimum. But if there are other specific items you are looking at, then making sure you communicate that with your sitter and they can provide updates for you on those specific needs. Are you comfortable with / how do you feel about insert potential thing here? So it could be, are you comfortable with walking my dog at night? My dog likes to go on night walks, but is that something you're comfortable with doing? Are you comfortable with spending the night? Are you comfortable with sleeping on the sofa? Whatever it is, again, these are things that we really want to be open and honest about so that we can get a good, clear answer and no surprises later after, you left for your trip and the pet sitter is there and all of a sudden I can't do the job anymore because I'm uncomfortable doing this particular task. So whatever task that is, just make sure that it is established beforehand and talked about beforehand so everyone's on the same page. Let's see. You can ask them, is there anything I should know about you? So this is a really good opportunity for them to let you know, like, oh, actually, I have a family party on this day, so I won't be getting here until a certain time. Like, whatever it may be, asking them, is there anything that I should know about you? I being the pet parent and then you being the sitter. Is there anything that I should know? And making it feel like a safe space for them to share. Again, as long as you know ahead of time and they know ahead of time, a lot of times you guys can make schedules work. Do you have a website or social media I can check out? So this is a really good one also for accountability and responsibility. If this person is on social media for pet sitting specifically or something pet related, or if they have a website, it's going to give you a little bit more like sense of security that, okay, they have been doing this, they know what they're doing. I'm kind of hopefully going to be in good hands. Are you able to grab the mail, water plants, whatever else you need done, feed the fish, if there's other things in the house that you would like done? Again, making sure that you establish that beforehand. You don't ever want to assume that the pet sitter is going to do all these other kind of housework for you, unless it is established beforehand that is this something you do. Can you take out my trash? Can you grab the mail? Whatever that means for you. So that is basically the questions. I will have a downloadable PDF in the description so that you can see all the questions laid out and then type in the answers as you interview different potential sitters. I do recommend interviewing different potential sitters. And then you can kind of just compare and see who you like the most. And you can even have several pet sitters that you like and you kind of just switch between based on schedules. So some of the side notes, things I would recommend you pay attention to. Number one, trust your gut. That's the biggest thing. If you're not comfortable with this person being in your house, don't hire them because that's what they're going to do. They're going to be in your house. And you don't want to have to feel like uncomfortable and scared on your trip because you hired someone that you are not comfortable with. The other thing to look at are their communication skills. So when you're texting with them, when you're emailing with them, whatever it is, do they respond within a reasonable amount of time? And is their communication clear, or are you constantly needing to ask for clarification? This is someone that you want to have a good dialogue and relationship with, because you will be talking back and forth about questions that come up with your pets or things that come up in life. I mean, they're going to be staying at your house. You want to make sure this is someone that has good communication skills and you can feel comfortable having conversations about your pet in your home. The other thing is, so interviews can be done with these questions. They can be done in person or online, just like a Zoom call or something. And And then once you're like, okay, cool, I like this, you can have a meet and greet, or this can be during your meet and greet. Either way, your first opportunity to meet this person, you really want to be looking at their body language, especially if they're with your pet. So if you see anything concerning, such as discomfort with maybe the size, let's say you have like a Great Dane and the person's kind of like shying away a little bit, you can bring them like, are you comfortable with the size of my dog? Like, is that something you feel like you can handle, like especially for walks or anything like that? If they look uncomfortable with something, it absolutely is appropriate to bring it up and discuss it and make sure that everyone is happy and comfortable with the environment that they are in. Another thing to look at, this is kind of your first test when you meet the person when they come into your home. Do they leave your front door open? I know it sounds kind of silly, but do they close the front door behind them when they come in, or make sure you're closing it? If they are comfortable with the front door being open, that is to me a red flag for this person might leave it open while they're here and my dog can get out. So just making sure that this person does not leave your front door open. Another thing to look for is, are they asking questions? Do they seem interested and engaged? If they're just like, yeah, whatever, when you're explaining to them your dog's needs, it's probably not the best fit. Also, if they're not, like, if you have a really detailed way of taking care of your pet, like, it's not just kibble, it's you do all these different things for meal times, and they're not taking notes, or they're not like fully listening, chances are they're not going to do a single thing that you said. So just making sure that they are engaged, and you can even ask them to repeat back what you said. So you can be like, yeah, and then did that make sense? Just kind of run that back past me. I just want to make sure like you don't have any questions or anything like that. So those are the questions that I would recommend you ask when interviewing potential pet sitters. I can do another video all about how to conduct a meet and greet. So meet and greet is what you do when you have the potential pet sitter come over to meet you and your pets in person. This is also when you show them around your house and let them know what you would like done. I can do, like I said, a separate video on that, and then I can also do a separate video on how to find pet sitters, because I know that that can be really hard as well. But I wanted to get this out here because I know the holidays are here and a lot of people are scrambling to find a good pet sitter, and this will kind of help you weed out the not super reliable people and help you find a good, decent pet sitter, a good fit for you and your family, and hopefully you can take a nice trip and you will find someone who loves your pet almost as much as you do. And yeah, if you guys have any questions or anything you would like to add, please feel free to drop it in the comments so we can all help each other out. I know that we've all needed a pet sitter from time to time, so if we can help each other, then that'd be great. Thank you guys.